So I believe when the Twin Towers went down, I was in the car. I had dropped my kids off at school and was going to run an errand. I remember hearing it on the radio, and my heart just sank, and my stomach just got upset immediately. I believe I just turned around and went home so I could figure out what was going on, making sure my kids were safe and nothing else was going on in our town. So yeah, it was pretty sad.
The morning of 9/11, I was sitting in a meeting at work for Rocketdyne on NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. When the first plane hit, we all just thought it was an odd coincidence. But then, within minutes later, it seemed like the second one hit, we knew something was going on. We all went into a large conference room and turned on a TV and started following the coverage. Not long after, they started evacuating the base with military aircraft flying over and tanks in the streets and blocking the entrances and big loudspeakers telling us to evacuate the area by building number. It was very sad. I had knee surgery the following morning, and while I was laying home recuperating for several days, that was the only thing on TV over and over again was about all the tragedy of 9/11.
All right, so on 9/11, I was in nursing school, actually in Washington, D.C. at Georgetown. I was in the basement of one of our classroom buildings doing a dissection. And I remember hearing about what had happened and then walking outside where we actually were able to see the Pentagon on fire. It looked like a true bomb had gone off, which in essence it did because the airplane was used as a bomb. So we watched the biggest black cloud of smoke. It was awful and terrifying. Everything then shut down. I was using public transportation at the time. I didn't have a car in DC, so we couldn't get anywhere without walking on foot. All cells lost signal, so we couldn't call family members to tell them we were okay. Could not get a hold of my grandmother who lived in New York, which was also super scary. And that's actually what prompted me to apply for and join the FBI. I was so taken aback by what had happened and wanted to do something about it. It shaped the course of my future.
September 11th, 2001, the biggest trade show of our industry was going to start in Atlanta. Tuesday morning, I was driving to Atlanta, and on the way, someone called and said, there's been a plane that hit the World Trade Center. So I stopped at a Waffle House in Summerville, Georgia, and pulled up a seat at the bar and watched the coverage on the television and saw the first and second plane had hit the World Trade Centers by then. Needing to get to Atlanta, I went back in the car and started listening to the radio and heard about the third plane and then the fourth plane. And on the way to Atlanta, thinking this is going to change everything. The commentators on the radio were just awestruck of what was going on. Ultimately, the trade show was canceled. All the people in Atlanta had to find a way home, but all the airplanes had been grounded. People from Microsoft in Seattle had to rent buses to drive back to Seattle. Clearly, I drove back to Huntsville, but it was a very traumatic day.